doing their work. So the problem is, I can say devolution is still work in progress. But I think the governors who will be elected this time round they need to pull their socks up and serve wananchi.
Indeed, and there are also those who claim, excuse me, there are those who claim that with the increase in recurrent expenditure, that we then took away a large chunk of what could have been used towards other projects such as the development of infrastructure. Although, like you said, there are some benefits that come with devolution, and just like everything else, it cannot be, you know, purely good or purely evil. And I do agree with you that it is still a work in progress.
It's still work in progress. Like the recurrent expenditure has been eating the bigger chunk of the budget. 70% of account is budget going to pay salaries. It's not, it doesn't make logic.
But then again, it did bring, like you said, the government closer to the people. Because previously, anyone within the sections, the 8 sections that the country was divided into, would have a very hard time connecting with a member of parliament. And right now it is very easy to, you know, connect with an MCA, forward your grievances to them, and then they would run it up the chain of command until a solution is found for you. So in this episode and those coming after, we will dissect and assess the counties and those aspiring to lead them in the impending elections. We kick off today with Kiambu County, commonly known as the bedroom of the country's capital, which is Nairobi. Isaac,
yes.
Why is Kiambu known as the capital's bedroom?
Kiambu, Mr. Kevin, is known as the capital's bedroom because of its proximity. Its proximity to Nairobi, and you'll find, because of the congestion and hassles and bustles that you'll find in the capital, when people have started to shift, they work in the capital, Nairobi, but you'll find them in the evening, they go to Kiambu. That's where they reside, because there's fresh air, there's space, there's no congestion like in the city, in some estates in the city. So its proximity is what made it be given that name.
And that is true, because if you do look at some places such as Pipeline in Embakasi, or even Donholm, they are very, very congested compared to some places such as Ruaka and Kikuyu, for instance. And the traffic along the roads that connect these places to Nairobi is not as severe as it is along the roads that connect places such as, again, Embakasi to Nairobi. Because, for instance, take the case of Jogoo Road. It is congested during rush hour. It is bad. Traffic on Jogoo Road is bad, and the same case with traffic on Mombasa Road. But then traffic on Kiambu Road is not as severe, except maybe at the places where the roads connect, such as at the bypass, or maybe where at the diversion where Kiambu Road finally diverts away from the Thika Superhighway.
Yeah, and Kiambu is county number 022, which is located in the central region of the country. It borders Nairobi County and Kajiado County to the south, Machakos County to the east, Murang'a County to the north, Nyandarua County to the northwest, and Nakuru to the west.
Now, if we take a look at some of the figures of the population in Kiambu, we'll find that according to the 2019 census, there is a total population of 2,417,735 people in the county. This figure has, of course, been adjusted, but the figures will be updated during the next census. The county has 1,187,146 males and 1,230,454 females. The administrative units, this is where we look at in what ways the county is divided. So it is divided into 12 sub-counties and 60 county assembly wards.
And when we talk about the economy, because every county has its specific it has a backbone, to call it that way. Every county will have a backbone that shapes its economy. When we look at Kiambu, coffee and tea are the main cash crops grown in the county, while the main food crops maize, beans, pineapples, and Irish potatoes. The county also practices livestock farming, which is mainly done through zero grazing. Animals reared include cattle, sheep, goats, poultry, and pigs.
Maize and beans just had to be part of the crops that are food crops that are grown in Kiambu.
That's staple.
It is a staple food for the residents there.
Yes.
I mean, the majority of the people living in that county.
Yeah.
Now, this has been encouraged by the availability of a ready market in Thika, Ruiru, Kiambu itself, Nairobi, and also the local processing factories such as Farmers Choice Limited, Kenchik's Company Limited, Brookside Dairies, Githongori Dairies, Dumberi Dairies, Limuru Milk, and Palmside Dairies, among others. So there are quite a number of outlets, or rather businesses, that are willing to take up the commodities being offered by the animals that the Kiambu people put in or rather look after in their farms, be it eggs, be it milk, be it beef, meat, or meat from these other animals, or even leather. So because there is a manufacturing company there. There's a company that deals with the manufacturing of leather and the production of products such as shoes, that is also located in Kiambu.
And it's very nice because, Mr. Kelvin, it's very nice because for you to uplift the living standards of farmers, and because a good majority of Kiambu residents are farmers, it's to give them ready market for their products. Because you can spend seasons tilling the farm and planting whatever, maybe pineapples, bananas and all that, maize, beans, but if you don't have a ready market, because you can't consume everything that you produce, you need a market.
Yes.
Because you consume, you sell some so that you can have some cash to do extra chores. So getting a market for the product is a very nice thing. And
well, I wonder if there are such outlets in the other counties that are primarily dealing with agriculture, such as the ones around Mount Kenya, the Mount Kenya region. But then again, that is a question we will answer when we get to looking at the counties around Mount Kenya, such as Murang'a, Meru, and Embu. Now, other economic activities include manufacturing, that is leather, mining of natural gas in Lari constituency by Carbaseed Company Limited, and the extraction of ballast, hardcore, gravel, maram, sand, and building stones in Juja. There is a very, very big quarry that is located in Juja constituency that produces all these building materials that are then used for construction all around, even in Nairobi and in some other counties away from Kiambu.
Yeah, and Mr. Kelvin, you know, today was a big day for those who sat for their KCP exams. So
Yes.
We can't say that we've dealt with Kiambu without trying to know how they've performed, the pupils from this county. But we'll start with an overview of how the education sector is in Kiambu.
Yes, before we zero in on the performance of the KCPE candidates.
Yes, before we zero down on the results. There are 1,225 primary schools in Kiambu County, out of which 576 are public and 349 are private. There are 303 secondary schools consisting of 227 public and 76 private schools. The county has one public university, Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology, located in Juja constituency, and two satellite campuses, namely University of Nairobi, Kikuyu campus in Kikuyu sub-county, and Kenyatta University, Ruiru campus in Ruiru sub-county.
Now, as you said, I do have some statistics here, some numbers here from one of the websites, and it indicates that the name of the candidate who topped in Kiambu County was William Jenga with 409 marks. who was studying in Bethlehem Academy, and the second one was Kareithi Phyllis Nyagodhie, who had 408 marks, who was studying in PCA Ngenda Mixed Boarding School, which is also in Kiambu. And then the third student who performed the best in the county was Noel Nafula Kinyulusi, who had 406. And I find that this performance is especially commendable, considering that there was a time during last year when these students were away from school for an extended period because of COVID. Yes, and plus they had to put in a lot of effort to catch up with the syllabus ahead of the examination, and not considering the other impact that the COVID containment measures had on them as students, even psychologically. So yes, congratulations to the students who have just completed and have just received their results for the KCPE examination. We do commend you, and all the best in your future endeavors.
One thing I've noted about this Mr. Kiambu,
yes,
is majority of those top students come from academies, private primary schools. And I'm wondering, where is the public sector? Public primary schools. What is the fate of the pupils who sat their exams in different public schools? You can say that the academies are better facilitated. They have better equipment and learning materials. But I think it's an issue of concern. It's an issue of concern about public schools performance. Because I think out of the top 10 in Kiambu, I think it's only one
public institutions. Well, I think it also goes in to show the impact that teacher attention plays in the outcome of such examination results, because in private institutions there are very few number of students as compared to public institutions, and so then teachers can then focus more on the individual students, guiding them as they go, as compared to public institutions where the teacher-student ratio is way different.
I think that plays a big part, because at least when a teacher has a small number of pupils, they are able to give more time to individual students than you can compare when a class is overcrowded. It goes without saying that there's better concentration when you have fewer students. When a teacher has a few number of pupils.
I do look forward to the time, and I do believe that we will get there as a country where public institutions, that is as far as education is concerned, and especially in lower classes, leave alone the higher levels of it, such as the colleges and the universities, but where public institutions can compete with private institutions, not only in terms of the results of such exams, but also in terms of the quality of education that is offered to these students. So I look forward to that time, and I do believe that it is coming. That time, believe you me, is coming. We as a country are getting to that kind of point in time. Now, moving on, there are 6 private universities, which include Gretsa University, Mount Kenya University, St. Paul's University, Kiriri Women's Science and Technology University, and Presbyterian University of Tertiary Colleges. The county also has 2 teacher training colleges, namely Kilima Teachers in Ika Sub-County and Logoto Teachers in Kikuyu Sub-County.
I think we've done justice to the education sector in Kiambu County, and it's only fair if we can highlight how the health sector is doing in that specific county, because they say a healthy population is a happy population. Now, on the health side, Kiambu.
Yes. Before we get to the health sector, the health sector, but still on the topic of health. Let me just remind our viewers that one of the best ways to remain healthy throughout your life is to hydrate. And how better to do that than with a sip, a gulp, a bottle, a drink of pure refreshing water, such as the one that we have here, that is Regis Premium Water. Make sure you grab yours at an outlet, and well, it will cool you down, especially during times such as this when the heat is almost overwhelming. Now Isaac and I do need to take a sip of Regis Premium Water, and we will be back after this very, very brief commercial break. On the ballot. Today we are focusing on Kiambu County, that is county number 22, and if you are a resident there, kindly do tell us who you are supporting, for what position, and more importantly, why.
Yeah, before we went on the break, Mr. Kevin, I had said that a healthy population is a happy population, and I wanted we highlight on the health sector in that county, then we see how it's doing. Kiambu County has a total of 364 health facilities. The flagship health institutions in the county are the Kiambu Level 5 in Kiambu and Thika Level 5 Hospital in Thika Town. Yeah.
Yes, and the Level 5 hospitals do offer quite a number of services to the population, and they do receive a lot of treatment for a lot of diseases in these hospitals. Yes.
Yeah, and then they are big. They have the facilities, but though sometimes you hear about the shortage of medicine, but they play their role because, as you know, sometimes falling sick can be very, very, very costly because of the high bills that are charged by the private sector, privately owned hospitals.
Yes.
So these two key hospitals play a very big role in enhancing health in Kiambu County.
Yeah. So another aspect of the county that we cannot fail to mention is the infrastructure that has been happening in that county. So in terms of infrastructure, Kiambu has not been left behind, since it is the home of Kenya's first superhighway, that is the Thika superhighway. This highway has addressed the problems of congestion, eased the cost of doing business, and has contributed to the economic development of the county.
Yeah, and I think Thika superhighway was one of its kind. Kenya had not built such a road, and Kenyans waited, and after some time, it might have taken some time to complete, but after it was completed, Kenyans came to appreciate.
Yes.
Yeah, Kenyans
yes,
came to
it did play a very, very crucial role in the easing of congestion to and out of traffic, Nairobi. Yes.
And I think now it's good time that we can get into real politics. Yeah. We separate wheat from the chaff and see some of these guys now who are aspiring to lead this beautiful county called Kiambu.
I do know that is a topic that you enjoy delving into.
Yeah, because in this country, there's no day that will come and go without some political, some politics being played. Anyway,
true.
From we start politics immediately. We go to the ballot. Like now, the impending elections in August 9th. You'll come to see that, and I can bet you, the Kenyans will start politicking immediately. Those who have been elected as well. It's just high octane politics in this country.
We are a very political people.
A very political country. Yeah. I just wish the way we politic is the way these leaders come up with good economic policies and measures that can uplift the living standards of the citizenry. Yeah, and high octane politics are said to be witnessed in Kiambu County as political heavyweights roll up their sleeves in the race for the governor's seat ahead of the August 9 general election.
Yes, and that particular seat has attracted 9 aspirants, including political bigwigs led by former governors William Kabogo and Ferdinand Waititu, the incumbent James Nyoro, Gatondo South MP Moses Kuria, Thika Town MP Patrick Wainaina alias Wajangol, Senator Kimani Wamatangi, and Kiambu County Assembly Speaker Stephen Disho. Now, this is what we mean when we say that we want to hear who you are supporting. You can leave us your feedback on any one of our social media platforms. We are at Daesak TV, or send it to 23595, and we'll be sure to sample some of that feedback at the end of the show.
Yeah, and this seat, the governor's seat in Kiambu has attracted women also, the girl child. So it's not an all boys fight, because we have 2 women, and they include Dr. Juliet Ekimemia and Mwende Gatabaki, and who have shown interest and have thrown their hearts into the ring. Yeah.
All right.
So when we talk of gender, it might not balance because men are the majority in this fight, but at least we have representation, for the girl child.
And I do love how women are now stepping up in large numbers to, fill political leadership positions, and that is another benefit of a devolved government, because there are all these other positions that the women can fight for, and they can fight for alongside or against even the men, their male counterparts.
I always say, I think some women underestimate their potential, because look at it this way, Mr. Kelvin. We have a Chief Justice who is a woman. The top judge in this country is a woman. That goes to tell you that women should not underestimate their potential. They are capable of fighting it out with the men and getting these seats, because we've seen women who have fought it with the men and emerged victorious. We're talking of Mother Karua. We're talking of Charity Ngilu. We are talking of about the late Professor Wangari Maathai. These are people, these are women who said, we have what it takes, we are going for it. Doesn't matter how many men we will find in the field, but we are going for it. So I think it's about making that decision and not underestimating your worth as a woman.
Indeed, indeed.
The 9 will be getting the 9 will be fighting for the over 2 million votes in Kiambu, with each gunning for the highest percentage of votes to emerge victorious.
So the county has 12 sub-counties, with Ruiru leading with the largest number of registered voters, that is 159,337, followed by Thika with 147,761. Juja comes in at number 3 with 114,761 registered voters. Githunguri follows with 99,384. Kiamba with 95,413, Kikuyu with 91,157, and Limuru with 87,258 registered voters.
Others are Kabete 85,446, Kiambu 80,730, Lari 76,655, Gatundu South 75,858, and Gatundu North 67,598. Mr. Kevin.
Yes. And now Gatundu South MP Moses Kuria has announced he will be contesting for the county's coveted seat on his Chama cha Kazi ticket. This is after he conducted an online poll asking his followers which position he should go for. Talk about listening to the ground. The voice of the people is the voice of God. So help me God. Under your wings I feel safe. That is a quote written by Moses Kuria on his social media pages as he announced his candidature for the governor position of Kiambu.
Now let me tell you a thing about the Gatundu South MP. He's synonymous with controversy. From the claims of rigging of elections to 1969 oath, whenever Kuria comes out to speak, you expect something that will be controversial. And now, his entrance in the race sent shivers in the county's political quarters and complicated the race, forcing some of the aspirants to go back to the drawing board. You can't underestimate him. Yeah.
Indeed. His influence is notable.
Yeah,
it
is notable.
Yes.
It's notable.
Yes.
And you remember there was a time he had said that he wouldn't be defending his Gatondo South seat, and he wouldn't be vying for. You remember, he won't be vying for any political seat. Only for him later afterwards to come out and say that he had done some research. Yeah.
Yeah, listened to the ground.
And the people who are ground have said that he should go for the governorship. I think Kenyan politicians will always give you something to laugh about.
Indeed. So
yeah.
Well, for instance, those who have been sent back to the drawing board are Thika Town MP Patrick Wainaina, alias Wajangol, who decamped from UDA in January and announced he will be contesting as an independent candidate, though he has now returned to the United Democratic Alliance.
Yes, because as things stand now, it seems like because of the inroads that the DP William Ruto has made in the mountain, you prefer to get the UDA ticket. It makes your work easier. Yeah, it makes your work easier in campaigning because of the popularity of the party in this part of the country.
Yes, indeed. And one testament just as to just how popular UDA is, there in the past by-elections for the MP to replace Koinange, who sadly passed on, they fielded a candidate who was not so popular against a candidate who was very, very popular. And the not so popular candidate won against the very popular candidate because of the preference of UDA over parties such as Jubilee and ODM in that location.
Yeah, and those are telltale signs that the party has made good inroads in the region. So any politician would want to be associated with the party and play their cards well so that they grab that nomination certificate. It makes your work easier going forward.
Especially in Kiambu, yes.
In Kiambu. Yeah. He's now expected to face off with Waititu for the UDA party ticket in April nominations. It's however not clear whether Waititu will get the necessary clearance from state agencies due to ongoing graft cases against him. This is another very controversial politician, Ferdinand Waititu Babayao. He said he will go for it, but I'm not very sure whether he will be cleared. He needs clearance from EACC, he needs clearance from DCI, and because the cases, there are no chances that his cases will be concluded before the deadline to be cleared are met. We are just 4 months to the election.
Yes,
5 months. There's no time for him to get his cases heard, determined, given the way our judiciary operates. The cases drag a lot. So unless he's cleared, and I don't see the chances of being cleared before the elections, I don't think he will be in the ballot.
Well, let us wait and see. Maybe miracles do happen.
Miracles do happen.
They could happen for him,
and especially in the Kenyan political scene. Yeah.
Now, also in the UDA matrix is Senator Kimani Wamatangi, who recently ditched Jubilee for the deputy president-led party. Senator Kimani Wamatangi, who has been in office for 2 terms, has been crisscrossing the county, wooing voters to back his gubernatorial bid. Wainaina, a first-time MP, beat all odds in the 2017 general election to rise to the August House as an independent candidate. He floored his main competitor, Alice Nganga, who was vying on a Jubilee party ticket, the most dominant party during the elections at the time. That is, at the time, Jubilee was the most dominant party.
Yeah, that time. And Wajango, as he is popularly known in Thika and the surroundings, in Kiambu in general, is a popular candidate. Because given the way Jubilee was popular in 2017, and he stood as an independent in Central Kenya, to be frank with you, we don't have a lot of MPs who are independent, because majority who got the Jubilee ticket got elected. Yeah, we have very few MPs or even MCAs who are independent, and that goes to show the popularity of a candidate. You don't underestimate them, because Wajango is popular. He has the resources, to mount a good campaign. So it's not something to be just wished away.
True. True.
Now, on his part, Kabogo has declared his intentions to recapture the Kiambu governor seat through his Tujibebe wa Kenya party. You remember immediately after the election, when he was floored by Waititu. You remember immediately, the same way we were talking about the way we like politicking and we start politics immediately after elections. There was that sloganeering about in Kiambu. I know you know Kiambu very well.
Yes.
There was that sloganeering called that used to go by Kafakafogo. And these are the same people who have thrown him out. Kafakafogo didn't last long because it was in the office before he was impeached. But Kabogo is another controversial politician. Now, the other day he said that because President Uhuru Kenyatta is retiring, he will become the next the kingpin of the mountain. He said that, and you see, he's refused to join parties, the major parties, UDA or the other Azimio, and said that he must stick with his party, and if he's coming to join the way he joined the Kenya Kwanza Alliance, he said that I'm coming as a co-principal. So there's no short-changing here. The question of how many followers to Jibebe party, how many people wanajibeba kwa hiyo kadi is a question for another day, because I don't think it has a lot of followers. Okay, as of now.
Well, it's a relatively new party.
It's new.
Yes, but then I think with the advent of time, so will come its popularity.
Yeah.
Especially with Kabogo at the helm, it could become quite popular within Kiambu.
With the resources, you'll be able to open offices across the country, go on a recruitment drive, because mostly you need resources to do some of these things, to set up offices, get officials who will be there, go on a recruitment drive. Siasa Kenya, you must leave something behind, so a lot of resources are required, but he has them. But we are yet to see him rolling out. I've been going to different corners of this country, and I haven't seen even a single office of Tujibebe party. But with time, it's these parties, Mr. Kelvin, are called special purpose vehicles. They're just there to negotiate, just in case. You see, raising stakes in case the guy you're supporting gets the presidency. You know you
have a stake.
You know you uko kwa table. You're there. You won't be ignored. Now,
indeed. Well, we do have to take a short break, Bwana Isaac, but we will continue looking at the politics of county number 022 after this very, very brief commercial break. On the ballot, my name is Kelvin Mungai. I am joined on set by Bwana Isaac Mwangi, and we are looking at, well, before we went on break, we had just started looking at the politics of Kiambu County. Now we will be looking at the general overview before we zone in into who is vying for what positions. And you, as the residents of Kiambu, or if you have interest in Kiambu County, we do welcome your feedback on who you are supporting for what position and why. You can leave us this feedback on any one of our social media platforms. We are at Daesak TV, or send it to us on 23595, which is our SMS line. Now, before we went on break, we were talking about Kabogo.
Yeah.
And he only ruled for one term as the governor.
Yes.
And then he was, well, during the election, Waititu, the Honorable Ferdinand Waititu, took over the leadership of Kiambu as a governor, who garnered 716,336 votes against 192,045 that Kabogo garnered in that general election. Waititu vied on a Jubilee Party ticket after beating Kabogo in the party's nominations. They were both in Jubilee Party at the time. So, however, Waititu's victory was short-lived.
Yeah.
This is something that was very, very publicized a few years ago, as he was impeached in graft and gross misconduct and later impeached from his position in 2019. Although he has now declared his candidature for the coveted seat with a UDA ticket, although it is yet to be known whether he will be cleared to vie for the position. Waititu has been accompanying UDA party leader Deputy President William Ruto on his campaign trail across the country, where he has been blaming his woes that led to his ouster to his political stand of supporting the Deputy President's presidential bid. I kind of feel that there is a lot of similarity between our politicians and rally drivers, because, you know, a rally driver will never admit mistake. Even though the accident was terrible. I had one rally driver claim that he did not approach the corner too fast. It was the corner that approached him too fast, and he was therefore unable to navigate. And I feel like it is the same thing here. You know, where he says that where Ferdinand Waititu has been blaming the wars that he has been facing that culminated in his ouster as the governor for Kiambu to his political stand of supporting the Deputy President's presidential bid.
Yeah, as we've deliberated here on this platform earlier, I told you that our politicians are a funny lot, if I can put it that way. I told you at some stage I spoke to a politician after the 2017 election, and then I asked, Mheshimiwa, kwani kuliendaje? He had been defeated, and then he told me, mimi sikushindwa, ni kura zangu hazikutosha. So yeah, you wonder where to draw the line between kura kukosa kutosha na kushindwa. But anyway, that's a story for another day. Our politicians will never admit that they are on the wrong. They will never concede defeat. They're just there. They will never lack something, an excuse, to hide their weaknesses, to hide their underperformances, to hide whatever they've involved in corruption, because corruption, they will always say they are being it's witch hunt. There's no any politician that will lack an excuse, a reason to try and cleanse him or herself. That's our politician.
Yes. Yes.
Now, Waititu's removal paved the way for his deputy Nyoro to rise to the governor's position. The incumbent is set to defend his seat on a Jubilee Party ticket or any other party affiliated to Azimio la Umoja led by ODM leader Raila Odinga. Nyoro says he has spent his 2-year tenure transforming the county through infrastructural development, especially in the health sector. He
says his transformative work has been felt by the Kiambu residents and is optimistic he will be voted in again come August 9th. I have been on a journey to transform Kiambu to an agricultural and industrial hub. We have initiated and completed life-changing projects in a bid to restore the county's lost glory. That is a quote by Honorable James Nyoro. Also, Kimemia and Katabaki have been meeting groups as they strategize to give their male counterparts a run for their money in the race. The duel is set to pick momentum once campaigns officially kick off, and that is something that I am particularly excited about. You know, when the campaign period officially begins, because it has not officially begun, and yet we are seeing this. A lot of people are calling them high-octane politics, not only in Kiambu County but also across the country, with people who are vying for leadership positions even on a national level, going around the country talking to their supporters. And this has been especially so because it seems like it has deepened or rather widened the rift between the president and his deputy. And the president is accusing his deputy of a few things here and there in a bid to try and draw people, especially the people from Mount Kenya, to his side to support them. So I do look forward to see especially how these two women, that is Kimemia and Gatabaki, go head to head with their male counterparts for this position. That will make for some interesting viewing and also analysis that will be happening right here on Daesak TV. Such analysis happens twice in a day now, I believe. With Eye on the Ballot, we'll be analyzing that, and also during the hotspot segment of the Morning Dew, we'll also be looking at all of that. So keep it Daesak TV for all your politics, political interests.
Yeah, and also I think I needed to highlight where the rubber will meet the road when it comes to this politics of August 9 election. When these two presidential candidates, the leading ones, Dr. William Ruto, the deputy president, and Raila Odinga, the Azimio leader, when they pick the first hurdle is when they pick their running mate. The other hurdle will be in April when the political parties undertake their nominations. Very interesting development going on in Parliament right now, Mr. Kelvin. There's an amendment being proposed to the Elections Act. And this amendment is very controversial because it's saying that after nomination, when it passes, if it passes, that is, after nomination, politicians won't be allowed to vie as independents. Yeah, you remember in 2017, whoever lost the nomination, but went ahead and they stood as independents. If that bill passes, it will forbid anyone who is defeated in the nomination, in the nominations, to stand as an independent. Two way about to look at that amendment, that proposed amendment. The big parties in Parliament, the big parties which believe they are big, would want their MPs to support it. You know why? So that they can get majority, in Parliament after elections. On the other side, these MPs may not want to support it. The majority may not want to support it because they know the games that are played during nominations, and it's very easy for it to be rigged out. You remember the fiasco that was at Pangani, Jubilee House.
Yes. Yes.
Because of MPs claiming they've been rigged out during nominations. So it's two-way. The big parties may want that bill to pass so that they can get a majority, but the MPs who are expected to pass that bill may not want it. They will not, I'm very sure, because they know the games that will be played, and they can easily be locked out. Now,
so once you lose the nominations, you've lost everything.
You've lost everything. And
that is if the bill passes.
If the bill passes, it's still being discussed, it's being deliberated on in Parliament, and I think it will be very interesting in the coming days. I don't know whether it's this week or by next week. They'll have decided on its fate. And I think it's very interesting.
And it's also interesting to note that is not the only bill that is in front of Parliament regarding the elections. I mean, there's also another one that states that petitions to the elections by MCAs should not go any higher than the High Court. So that the other higher courts can be left to deal with petitions from the other positions that are above the MCAs. So that is all shaping up. It's all playing a role in shaping the August 9th elections to being very, very interesting and exciting. And it is definitely something that we will be keeping an eye out for, for you, our dear viewers. Now, there are some things that we have to discuss in regards to Kiambu County. First of all, whoever emerges victorious will have some immediate challenges that he or she will have to sort out. And these challenges include, one, the poor milk prices. Given that a lot of people in Kiambu are turning now to dairy farming because of the input that is required is not as much, and also the prices of milk, considering how much milk you can get from a dairy cow. It is pulling a lot of residents towards dairy farming, and also some of the residents who are working in Nairobi are also turning to farming because of they can manage their farms in Kiambu during the evening when they leave work, and then they can go to work in the CBD during the day, or employ someone to look for after their cows when they are at work. So one of the challenges that they have to address, that is the leaders who get into power in Kiambu County, is the poor milk prices. Given that a majority of Kiambu residents are dairy farmers, the prices of milk have stagnated for quite some time now.
Yeah, and I think if you take Kiambu as a case study, we've been having problems with milk prices across the country, and it's been argued in some quarters that there's a problem because the big companies that deal with milk in this country were bought, and then the market has been we can say monopolized. So when you have a monopoly in the economy, it's you who dictates the price. So I think it will be better, and it will work towards the benefit of all dairy farmers, including those in Kiambu, if the milk industry were liberalized. Let's have many independent companies dealing with milk, so that the prices, they can battle about the prices, and farmers can decide, I'll sell to A, I'll not sell to B because of the prices. But when you have one single giant company dealing with one product, it's that company to dictate the prices without naming names here. But monopoly in a liberalized market is disadvantageous to the farmer. Anytime.
So that in my opinion, that could be one way to go about it. The other way could be to educate people and popularize these other products of milk that are in the market, or rather should be in the market, other than just the fresh milk and maziwa mala, and lala also, which are largely the three types of milk that are consumed by the Kenyan populace. I mean, we have products such as cheese, which is one of the things that gives food that extra flavor. I mean, eggs in the morning with cheese does not compare to eggs without it. So I think the other way would be to diversify these products that are derived out of milk and put them into the market. But of course, there has to be a market for those products to perform well, because again, these processing companies are at the very core businesses, and they're looking at profits. So that could be one way that whoever gets into leadership in Kiambu could look into, in a way to support the farmers who have dairy cows in their farms and are looking to sell their milk to some of these outlets.
Basically value addition.
Yes, indeed. Value addition of milk. It could go a long way into even encouraging more and more people to venture into dairy farming.
That's true.
So the other thing that we have to discuss is the urbanization threat. There are a lot of people who are opting to stay in Kiambu and its environs within the county. Kiambu city itself, and also the environs of Kiambu city, because one, the road network from Kiambu and its environs to Nairobi is, I don't want to say excellent, but it is almost at that point where it is excellent. I mean, the roads are tarmacked, they are smooth. And then the transport system in itself, the matatus that ply those routes, I don't think there is ever at any one point where you will go into town looking for a matatu that either goes to Ruaka or Banana or Kikuyu or even Kiambu town itself, and you will not find one. It's like they are there 24/7. So a lot of people are preferring to stay in these places because, again, the rent there is cheaper than it is in some other places in Nairobi, such as I like using Pipeline because I have lived. It is a place that I have lived in, and the rent there for maybe 1 or 2 bedrooms cannot be compared to the rent of the same unit in Kiambu. In the ones in Kiambu are way cheaper, and then there is plus what you said earlier on about the air that is in Kiambu is generally a lot cleaner, and Kiambu so far is not as congested as some of these other places. So people look at the congestion on the road and congestion on the living areas, and also the price of house rent that they have to pay in order for them to live there, as compared to some other places. And a lot of people are preferring Kiambu to the other places, the outskirts of Nairobi itself. And I think this is one of the things that those coming into leadership for Kiambu County have to consider, because it is a threat. I mean, there are farms within Kiambu, not only those that deal in dairy and, you know, animal rearing, but we also have tea plantations in there. We have some coffee plantations out there. And this urbanization may be a threat because it encroaches on these farms. So that is another thing that I think these leaders will have to put into consideration, you know, how to balance the two, to get more people to come and live in Kiambu, because that in itself brings in revenue to the county, while at the same time looking to sustain these plantations. There are also some flower greenhouses still in Kiambu. So it will be quite a balancing act for the leaders who come in.
And a tricky one at that, I agree. Yeah, because for me, we live in a liberalized economy. I mean, if someone wants to buy some shamba in Kiambu because of its proximity to Nairobi, you won't stop him or her.
Indeed.
And if someone in Kiambu wants to sell a parcel of land, you won't stop them. So it's about balancing act. The only fear or the only danger that the urbanization, the rapid urbanization that's going on in Kiambu, the only fear is about food production. I mean, in this country, we are a food deficit country, and you can see with the millions that are sleeping hungry right now. It's because we are a food deficit country. So the shambas that we have, given the example of Kiambu, the more it's subdivided into small portions. Yeah, the more because it's being subdivided into small portions which are sold, and when they are sold, they are not, whoever buys, they do not buy to farm. They turn it commercial. Yeah, they put up flats, they put up business premises and all that. So you can see ultimately it may not take 1 year, it may not take 2 years, but if you take 10-20 years, yeah, this subdivision of land in Kiambu will sound a death knell to food sustainability of the county. Yeah.
Well,
it's very dangerous.
Again, that is another challenge that the leaders of Kiambu will have to put into consideration when they do clench the seats, the reins of power. And we will be back to discuss so much more about the county after this very brief commercial break. Do stay tuned. Welcome back to Eye on the Ballot. This is Daesak TV. My name is Kelvin Mungai, and I am joined on set by Mr. Isaac Mwangi, and we are looking today at Kiambu County, which is county number 22. Now, before we went on break, we were just looking at some of the issues, some of the problems, some of the challenges, rather, that those who clench the reins of power in Kiambu County come the August 9th elections will have to contend with once they take the office.
Yeah.
Now, the issues are not over yet. We still have quite a number of them to discuss, and we will try to fit them all in the period of time that we have left. So, Bona Isaac, moving on quickly to the issue of unemployment in Kiambu County. As far as you know, how is it? Is it as severe, or is it something that has been, well, mitigated over the past few years?
Mr. Kevin, thank you. It has not been mitigated, and the level of unemployment in Kiambu County is at the same level with the high rate of unemployment in the country. So for me, I think the one who clinches this governor seat has to have the youth as a priority. Because if you look at that productive age, those are the guys who don't have jobs. And as we said earlier, the farms there are becoming smaller and smaller. So you'll find most of them hanging around shopping centers without doing nothing. This governor, with the incoming governor, should also look for ways to lure investors from even outside the country and help revive some of the industries that we are in Thika. I mean, traditionally, Thika used to be the most industrialized town in this country. Actually, it used to be called the Birmingham of Kenya, like the Birmingham in the UK, which is more industrialized than any other city in that country. So if the several industries are revived, it will absorb a good chunk of the youth. And when you occupy the youth, it means that they will be able to plan for their lives. They will be able to put food on the table, and that relates directly with insecurity. The security in Kiambu will improve naturally, because when people are occupied, there are no idle minds lying around and planning evil things because of not having money, not having food, not having clothing, not having anything, and not even having hope, which is really serious. So I think for me, the incoming governor should prioritize on how to uplift the youth, and then the farmers in Kiambu. Yeah.
Well, but I think as far as the issue of unemployment goes, the matatu industry within the county has gone to great lengths to absorb a lot of young people into it. I mean, we at every stage that you get to, there are these people who call out to passengers to fill the vehicles. They're called kamageras. And then again, there is the increase in the number of matatus that ply the routes within Kiambu. That is from Kiambu from any location within the Kiambu County to Nairobi CBD, which is the main route, but also to other access routes such as the bypasses that have been constructed that now lead from Kiambu to places such as Ruiru and even joining the Thika Superhighway. And that has increased the number of job opportunities that are available to the youth within the county, even those who, for one reason or the other did not further their education. So I think that is also another thing that the incoming leadership has to look at ways to, support such industries and how to make them better. And another one is the border industry, because despite the controversy surrounding it, we cannot disassociate it from how impactful it has been to, drawing youth away from being idle to being a means of them getting their daily bread. And for those who, may lose their way, for the young men and women who may lose their way and get into some, use of substances such as heroin and cocaine, there are these clinics, let me call them clinics because they are more clinics than they are hospitals, that are called the MAT labs. That is medically assisted therapy, that help these youth to fight off the addiction to these hard substances. And I think that is something that is commendable that has been done within Kiambu County, and it is something that is the next leadership should also focus on. It has also, such labs have also contributed greatly to the employment of young people who have the education and may not have had such stable jobs before, such as a good friend of mine, he's called Thomas Jenga. He works at the medically assisted therapy outlet in Banana Karori, that is in Kiambu. And they are doing some amazing work with the rehabilitation of these young people. So it is something that should be supported by the county government of Kiambu, and also to see the more such outlets, you know, being opened, not only in some of the few places that they are already opened in, but also their network being expanded to other places within, to other locations within the county, and also to, you know, not just Kiambu County, but other counties throughout the country. So it is something that, again, those who will clench the reins of power in August 9th elections should look into. And talking about those people who will clench the reins of power, we have highlighted a few of them. But what is your general opinion of, first of all, let's start with the political landscape of Kiambu County. What is your general opinion on that?
I think Kiambu County, given the guys we have highlighted, who want to vie for the governorship, the political landscape will be hot, to say the least. Because if you look at someone like William Kabogo, he's been there, he's done it, he's got the resources. Look at Moses Kuria. He may not have as much resources as Kabogo, or maybe like Mheshimiwa Wajango, but he has influence. Yeah, he has following.
Yeah, Moses is quite charismatic.
Yes, that charisma. Charisma and political gravitas. You look at Mheshimiwa Wajango, he has resources, then he's a guy who has a following. As we put it earlier, he vied as an independent when the euphoria, the Jubilee euphoria was at its highest, and he emerged victorious. Talk of Waitito and the controversy and everything that surrounds that. My point is that the battle that will be in Kiambu will be watched very closely, even by people who are outside that county but are interested in politics, because we can call them, almost all of them are political heavyweights, everyone in his or her own right. So I think political landscape in this coming election, August 9th election, Kiambu will be one of the hot spots, if I can put it that way. Across the country, Kiambu will be one of the hot spots, and one that will be watched very closely by those who follow politics.
Well, do you think, based on how you have analyzed, and I'm not looking to pull you to either side, but do you think that Nyoro has the, do you think it is possible for Nyoro to retain his seat?
The chances are there. You know why? Because when you're going for an election, there will always be one winner. Then you don't know whether it's Nyoro, whether it's Kabogo, whether it's Wajango, whether it's Kuria. You don't know. So you can't say that he can't win. He has his own chances, and he has the advantage of the incumbency. But sometimes incumbency comes in two ways. If you're able to use it to your advantage, you retain your seat. But on the other side, it comes as a curse, because we've seen governors being voted out after their first time.
Yes.
After their first term.
Yes, and so far I think Kiambu is notorious for that.
Yes. And Dr. Nyoro, being an agricultural expert, I think he'll have to convince the farmers there what he's done to have their product increase in value or fetch good prices and all that. He's been saying that he has concentrated on agriculture and the health sector. So I think it depends on how he packages his campaign message. Yeah, but you can't say he doesn't have a chance. It depends on how he manages his campaign, packages his wording, messaging for the campaign. how he uses incumbency might work for or against him. Yeah.
Well, Bona Isaac, I think we do have a few minutes left. And with these few minutes, what advice would you give to the incoming leader? Should they focus more on developing real estate within Kiambu, or should they continue focusing on agriculture?
I think, as we put it, it's kind of a tricky balancing act, because you concentrate more on real estate, you compromise food production. Food production will automatically go down. So the thing is, the incoming governor for Kiambu must concentrate on making sure, as much as the real estate, it has its place in Kiambu, not he or she must try and not neglect, to put it that way, the farming in Kiambu, because Kiambu, you don't imagine a situation where a county like Kiambu would start begging for food, because of it receives good rainfall, the soil is fertile, and the parcels of land are there. So you don't imagine a situation that the real estate overrides the farming, and that a county like Kiambu, which is supposed to be part of the food baskets for this country, going begging for food, yeah, or getting food aid. I would prefer a governor who comes, strikes a balance, and gives also a priority to farming, because food production is very, 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 very important.
It is crucial, yes.
It's very important. As they say, a hungry man is an angry man. Yeah. Kwanza unashiba tumbo, hiyo nyingine inakuja baadaye. Yeah.
Well, those are some of the issues that the incoming leaders for Kiambu County will have to contend with and figure out how to balance them. And I think the biggest challenge will be how to balance agriculture and the real estate that seems to be cropping up in the county, you know, to find out which one is better for the residents of the county than the other, or is it a mixture of the two? Now, tomorrow we will be looking at a different county within our country, and the aim of all this is to help you make an informed decision come the August 9th general elections as to who you entrust the leadership of your county and your country to. Because at the end of the day, we as Kenyan citizens do have the responsibility to ensure that we hand the reins of power for our country to whoever we find to be, or rather we think is best suited to hold that position. So do stay tuned to Daesak TV, because even after On The Ballot, there is more incredible programming coming your way. D-Corner is starting up in a few minutes, so do stay tuned for that. Let me remind you that there is no better way to live your life than be hydrated throughout the day, and one of the ways that you can do that is to grab yourself a bottle of Regis premium water, and they have it, I think, in 1 liter bottles such as the one displayed here, or the half liter and the 250 ml bottles, and they are all come at very, very affordable prices. So do grab yours. Make sure you remain hydrated, especially during this time of heat during the day and rain at night in some parts of the country. So do stay tuned to Daesak TV. My name is Kelvin Mungai.
And I'm Isaac Mwangi.
Yes, and we will see you tomorrow at 2 p.m. for more analysis on what is happening in your country and your county, politically and demographically. Have a lovely evening.
You are watching Daesak TV, the Cradle of Goodness.